DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, let me put this out of my ear so I can really hear what I'm saying. Lunchtime. And I don't know if you can notice, it's snowing, but almost like little pellets. So, yeah, it's cooling off. There were really big storms in Europe yesterday. I know that like, Northern Europe, the airports get closed down and everything. So let's see, just walking along. Yeah, I think I'll do a kind of a vlog, Spooky University. I don't remember which Spooky University it is, but the subject is conventions. So Claire was talking about conventions because she had just been back from one. I guess it was kind of a sci-fi, spooky type of convention, whatever. But so that type I've never been, like a Comic-Con or something like that. It must be a lot of fun, but no, I've never been to one of those. Conventions, though, is something that I've been to a lot of times. I mean, it's just been already as a student. I mean, all the type of scientific conventions. I've been to loads of those. The whole thing, I guess, about conventions, well, I mean, and sometimes, you know, you present your work. Other times you just go to learn about things, or it could be technical fairs, things like that, where you go to find out about things, conferences, and so on. So there's a lot about conventions that are, I would say, pretty positive. Networking, getting to know people, getting to know things. So it is really part of at least my life, conventions and conferences. Either participating, giving them out, or, like I said, just the networking. I find that's probably one of the main things within a convention, is getting a group of like-minded people together. People who have the same hobbies, the same work habits, the same, I would say, just the same interests overall. And getting to know. Yeah, so there's a really big social component in conventions. Another thing about conventions that people kind of forget is that it's usually a big perk in a job environment. At least in a job environment. It gets you to travel. So it's like a lot of free travel. There's usually a flip side of that. You got to write a travel report. Something like that, which is often a lot of work. But I mean, thanks to conventions, I got to travel in different states, different countries, and saw things, met people that would not have done on my own, because probably would not have simply have not gone there. Went to Eastern Europe quite a few times. Maybe I would not have gone there normally. Went to Finland once. Yeah, I've been to Finland probably, well, aside from airport and so on, but 2-3 times. Up like around the polar circle where it never got dark. Ate really bad there. But the people were fun. So yeah, I mean, little things like that. Through a convention, went to Montana, which I really, really liked, and saw Yellowstone. There was one convention I went to. It was a family convention. I mean, my kids were too small then for us to really travel, but it was an American Chemical Society convention, the Organic Chemistry Division. So it was really organized. We were in Montana, and yeah, I mean, we went to rodeo, really big barbecue. We then took a bus tour and ended up in Yellowstone. And yes, there was the scientific part, but the fact is that it was like after school breaks, so there was tons of families there, and people were meeting. It was a really, really cool convention. And the science was fantastic, but the fact is that being together as a group with families just changed the whole aspect. I mean, it became less stiff and so on. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I think I saw Melissa write somewhere that South Tube is a type of convention, so I would say, yeah. I mean, like we had Inner Tube, a much smaller level, but yeah, those are conventions as far as I'm concerned. Like-minded people that get together. Okay, maybe there weren't any formal presentations, but there are type of gatherings, I guess, you know. So it's akin to a convention. So what else did Claire ask on that? Dressing. How did you dress for those conventions? Of course, I was probably more thinking about the sci-fi ones or the Comic Cons. Conventions, it really is pretty different. Usually there's a formal banquet where, yeah, you're kind of expected to get dressed up. Normally, aside from that, though, people are, you know, pretty casual. I remember, though, going to some conventions where I was overdressed at certain functions and completely the contrary in others, where you don't expect it always. The Europeans, on many things, I mean, the conventions tend to be very casual, but when it gets to the formal part, you get a mixture. For as far as the Americans go, yeah, I mean, it was for the meals. I mean, the formal banquets, that was formal. Yes, it was really formal. The ones that were the most interesting in that respect are the ones that were in England, so like the British Pharmacological Society. There, when we had the formal dinner, everybody, it was really very much, it was in an English college setting, a bit like you'd see in the movies. And at the end there was port and cigars and speeches. Well, I didn't smoke, so I didn't get the cigar, but port and cigars and speeches and toasts and very much, I mean, like you see, like you see in those movies. That was quite an experience. I mean, you know, you have sometimes these chances when you're in these conventions to live the way people do in other countries. When I was in Latvia, I think it was in Latvia, they bussed us off to some castle somewhere, and we had concerts and opera in between, like the conference parts, things like that. So yeah, conventions, a real part of I would say a business situation, and if you're in the science position like I am myself, conventions are a really big part of your job. Scientific knowledge, I suppose. Anyway, okay, so that was my take on conventions for the Spooky University number 47, I think, or 48, whatever. Something like that. Okay, DC will be signing off. Take care, guys. Have fun. And as you can see, the weather is changing. Snow is coming. Winter is not over yet. DC signing off. Take care.